Hey Buns, so we need to talk about Vegas Fanfest 2023. Holy hell. This is probably going to be a bit of a doozy of a video because, there was really good things that happened. I'm excited to talk about. There's the FanFest news, the expansion news, Dawn Trail. I had dreams come true with some of these announcements and things that I've seen. I'm so excited to talk about, and I want to, but I cannot talk about those things until we first address the absolute shit show that happened at the convention center in Vegas because of the horrifically bad, negligent organization of this event. I am horrified by some of the stories and videos that I have seen and heard over the past couple days, people coming home from the event and talking about what they experienced there. I don't even know where to start. A lot of this conversation has come up around the experience that people had who have disabilities, who have a need for some special accommodations. And we're talking basic accommodations, okay? We're talking like people who need a place to sit that is safe, that they can return to, and that they know this is our section and we're going to be safe here and we can sit here. They could not count on that for this event. And if you were there, you don't even have to have been in the ADA section to have seen this firsthand. I'm sure we're going to have countless people in the comments saying, yes, I was there and I can attest this was probably one of the most poorly organized, poorly managed events I've ever seen, because I've seen that in Twitch chat every day for the last 3 days. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't get. If you don't manage a crowd well, a crowd of this size well, this is a huge safety risk that puts everyone in danger. Because if there is any kind of emergency at all, once a crowd panics, and a crowd that is not well organized, not well directed, there's not clear signage, there's no clear guidance on where to go or who even to talk to about a safety risk, this can result in serious injury or worse in any kind of event. Like, there's a reason why we put so much trust in people who organize conventions, and we expect them to get started on that organization months in advance. Because having this many people in an enclosed space, especially, by the way, in Vegas in midsummer during a heat wave, it's 115 degrees outside. People couldn't get access to water easily. There's people baking out in the sun. One person I talked to had an actual heat-related emergency. I don't know what they were thinking having this event in Vegas in the middle of summer. That wasn't too bright. Really, the one thing that I've been focusing on and talking about this the past couple days is sharing the experience that people had in the ADA section, disability section, people that needed just a place to sit and enjoy stuff. Like, I talked to people who, and by the way, I did an interview with 2 people on Tuesday. We have already posted that interview on Zep Live. I will link to it. If you want to just hear their entire story from pre-registration to day 1, day 2, all of the bullshit that they had to deal with. One of them is able-bodied but was there with 2 disabled attendees. And the other person who was there in the interview was in a wheelchair for the entire weekend. And they just talk about how difficult it was for them to do literally anything. Like simple things like going to the bathroom, going to any event, even just looking at the event. Like even looking at some of these big stalls that they had set up, because they had set up like, oh, it's a beautiful Thavnair section, and there's a beautiful Razat Han section. And because of the lack of organization and lack of easy accessibility for people with disabilities, they had to give up a lot of times. They just could not go see some of the installations that were there. They just could not get merch. They were pushed around at every corner and pushed aside. All weekend, their chairs, the ADA section chairs, they're going away. People are taking the banners off of the chairs and using them as their regular chairs. Nobody's watching this. Nobody seems to give a crap. And then for the Primals concert, staff comes by and says, you all need to get out. You all need to leave these chairs. You just need to leave the section. The ADA section, the disability section. And they're like, what? No. where are we supposed to go? We don't have anywhere to go. And they were just like, oh, well, too bad. Then they complain about it. Another staff member who was like, apparently there was only like one guy on staff who gave a crap. They ended up kicking people out of the general admission who'd just been sitting there. So that way the ADA people would have a place to be. And of course that made them feel really bad because why did this need to happen? There's zero reason why that needed to happen at all. But that's not even the worst of it. They're sitting there in this section, which is right behind the pit. So they think, oh crap, ADA people need some place to go. So they just hastily shove them into this section that is right behind the pit for the concert, where everybody's going to be dancing around and shaking their ass and moving around and flailing. Not too smart to put all of the people who have mobility aids, like you're not supposed to be bumping into people that have wheelchairs and stuff. Like that's not built for shock absorption. It is not smart to do that. But, you know, they're trying to make do. They're trying to have a good time. They're sitting there. Really, it's better if you hear this whole story from them. But I'm just trying to recap so you have an idea. They're sitting there trying to enjoy the concert. They can't see anything, obviously. And at some point, an announcer says, step back to the crowd that is in the pit. Step back. To where? Yeah. To the ADA section. Watching this video back was just so scary for me, and it was so shocking because it's obvious that all the people in this section have there's so much obliviousness from all sides. Like the people that are in the pit, they're not thinking about that. They're just, you know, trying to enjoy the concert. Whoever's making this announcement clearly also is not thinking about that and the safety risk. And the people that I spoke to who were there said that after that, many people just they either left the con completely or they went all the way to the back, and if they could, just sat on the floor in the back where they were. This is just one tiny example of the absolute cluster that happened all weekend that made it impossible for many people to participate or enjoy in even the most basic way. And then here's another thing. I've seen people on Twitter try to act like, oh, well, if you have a disability, you should just expect that there's gonna be a difficulty at cons and you can't have such high expectations. This is such a clown take. And it is such a terrible take to have because, first of all, it's illegal. This ADA exists because it is the legal framework that protects people with disabilities, that makes sure that they can go to concerts and can enjoy things and participate in things just like everyone else can. So, first of all, this is not up for debate. That's what I'm trying to say. It is not up for debate whether or not they should deal with it at all. This was completely unacceptable. And if this has happened to you, or if you know anyone that went through this, there is a forum thread about it that I'm going to link to that you can comment on, because apparently Square Enix does at least read the forum. I have tried to be very loud about it. I suggest that you also do too. I'll also put a link to the ADA complaint link if you have witnessed this, if this is something that you experienced at FanFest, because this is so dangerous. And I've also heard that there were security problems as well, with people just coming and going as they please. And I've heard this from many different people that I personally know who were there, that they at a certain point they just stopped checking bags. They just stopped checking to see if someone was supposed to be there or not. People were just coming in and out as they pleased. So rest assured that an event that is this poorly managed is unsafe, not just for people with disabilities, but for everyone who is there. And I don't want to hear anybody making excuses for Square Enix on this. And I also don't want to hear anybody saying, oh, well, it's not Square Enix, it's just the contractor company that they used. It's just the contractors that they weren't. It doesn't matter because Square Enix still has the accountability for what happened, and we need assurances that it's not going to happen at EU and it's not going to happen at JP. Like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable telling someone I know who would need ADA accommodations if it would be okay to go to EU FanFest or JP FanFest before I hear some kind of acknowledgement, apology, or plan for going forward from Square Enix, because this was just so dangerous and terrible for really everybody. And the thing that really got me in the beginning, that really was heartbreaking, was hearing some of these people say, that was my first and my last FanFest. Or they said, this felt like a Final Fantasy FanFest, but not for every fan. They felt left out. They felt like just pushed aside and forgotten, and this is not okay. This is absolutely not okay. So I obviously could not talk about FanFest as a whole without mentioning this whole situation. And again, I'm only retelling it. I cannot tell you from their perspective. That's why I interviewed people who were there and who went through it personally. And again, I'll link to that video so you can hear it directly from them. But I just wanted to tell you that this overcrowded, unsafe, disorganized conditions cannot continue. I don't know if maybe they just had more people than they expected, but I don't know. I don't care. Okay, they need to figure out what went wrong and fix it for next time. But yeah, I'm really glad I was able to enjoy FanFest right here from the comfort of my apartment. Especially now I'm hearing that a lot of people who are coming back from FanFest, they're testing positive for COVID right now. Arthar's just said he's feeling horrible, and I think he just tested positive. So if you've been, you might want to go get yourself tested today, because a lot of people I know are testing positive for COVID, and that is no fun at all. But you need to know for sure if you have it, even if you feel like you don't have any symptoms, so that way you don't spread it around. Anyway, I want to talk about the actual stuff that was announced and things that were fun and good surrounding this FanFest. So pretty much stuff that I got to experience here, far removed from Vegas and the convention center itself. So yeah, obviously all of my name days have come at once, and the thing that I had prayed for in my hype video for a FanFest has come true. It could have a new race in it. Maybe not, but maybe. It could have CGI Erinville in it. It could have a CGI Bunny Boy in it. I've actually hyped myself up so much about the idea that they might put a CGI Bunny Boy in the trailer that I feel like I'm going to be disappointed if there's not one. CGI Erinville was in the trailer. Oh my gosh, it was so funny because right before FanFest started, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to see CGI Erinville. I've got to see CGI. I've got to see CGI Bunny Boy. CGI Bunny Boy. It's like, I was so unhinged about it. I was so happy. I am happy. So basically, I don't care. How can I put this? I don't care if the expansion story is bad. I don't really care. Because I got what I wanted. I've got CGI Bunny Boy. I've got Erinville is like guaranteed to be a main cast member in this expansion. So, I mean, does it even matter what happens in the story that much? Like, for me, not really. Not really that much. Now, why would I say that? You know, why would I say, oh, it's okay if the story isn't that good? Well, because we got some kind of unsettling news. We heard that our beloved Natsuko Ishikawa, who has done the main story for Endwalker, for Shadowbringers, for the Dark Knight quest, like, she's the writer, okay? She is the one who writes the best stories. She said she's not, in fact, the main scenario writer for 7.0. So, I mean, that could go either way. Okay, it's just, it doesn't mean that the story will not be well written. It just means that it will be unpredictable. Like, we don't know if it will be well written or not. Could be good, could be not so good. One thing that did give me a little hopium is that the Alliance Raid story that we got from this expansion, the Myths of the Realm, that they said that was written by a younger team, like younger members on the team who are new, and I really enjoyed that. I think it's very good. I've enjoyed it quite a lot. It's different, but it's very refreshing, and it's interesting without being too much. So I really enjoy it, and so that gives me hopium for Dawn Trail if some of those people are also going to be heavily involved with the writing process for this expansion. So with that said, though, it's a beach episode. I've seen people memeing on the trailer quite a bit with, like, Margaritaville has been a very popular meme. I've seen my personal favorite is the Telenovela meme about it's like a romance novel, but FFXIV expansion, and we need that. Okay, I mean, it's pretty much a dating sim anyway, so I hope they lean further into that. It looks like there might be, maybe not, we might not kill God, right? But we might have drama, and that's just as good sometimes. So apparently we're going to Tyrol, and there's going to be a conflict that divides the Scions into two factions, the Horde and the Alliance. I mean, kind of, he said allies versus rivals. And wouldn't that be funny? As soon as WoW gets rid of the faction war, FFXIV is like, I'm gonna take that. There's a guy in charge in Tyrol. His name is Galul Jaja. He's a Mamulja, and he's got two-headed lizard, and he is gonna be replaced, and we need a new leader, and there's gonna be a huge drama over who is gonna be in charge. Now, I hope that this means we can choose, right? Like, maybe we can make a choice about who we think should be in charge, and maybe this can lead to a different story experience for different people. But I feel like that might be a little bit too much, a little too ambitious, because that would be way outside the norm for what we're used to in Final Fantasy XIV. But it's a contest for the throne. Personally, I hope that I can be the one who takes over. I would like to be the Bun Queen. Or Aaronville could be Bun King, and then that would make me go back. It's basically going to be like a Jersey Shore drama reality TV show on the beach episode. Wait, what if the debate about who's going to take over isn't about another person besides Galul Jaja? But what if it's about which head of his is going to be the king? Y'shtola would probably say, no, the mage head should be king. And then people like Estinian will say, no, the himbo head should be king. What if that's it? And it's not really about someone that's going to replace this guy, but about which head should be in charge. He said Tyrol is in the far west across the western seas, and it's all going to be made with the new graphics engine. So all the screenshots and stuff that you've seen from it look so good. The new hub city is in the northern reaches of Yaketel, and it is called Tuliol, which I can't not hear. Yeah, I can't. They also told us about a place called Urcopacha, which is like Peru. It is also in Yaketel, and this is actually the promised land, because from what I understand, this place is fucking filled with alpacas. And there's a new tribe called the Pelu Pelu, which we are going to befriend. And guess what they ride? Alpacas. So the alpaca mounts are confirmed for Dawn Trail. This expansion already has everything it needs to be good. Alpacas and Bunny Boy in the main cast. Like, what else do we even need? These people, apparently, they just sit around, make tea, coffee, and mezcal all day, which I I did have to Google. I did not know what that is. I felt really stupid because everyone in my chat's like, mezcal, and I'm like, it's like tequila. I learned. We're gonna be learning a lot in this expansion. Another place they told us about is Yaketel, which you need a dirigible to get there. It's way over the mountains. It's gonna feel very remote, and I guess once you unlock the Aetheryte, then you probably just teleport in. But they said the forest floor receives very little sunlight, and I just thought that was such a cool detail that they said, because you can see how they had the better graphics in mind for everything that they designed, all the regions they designed for this expansion. They're like, okay, well, what would be really cool to do with our much better shadows now? Maybe make a forest where the forest floor doesn't see a lot of sun, or the underground sea notes Yoshi P mentioned. This is a special underground reservoir of water. They said this is the most dense forest foliage ever, and they said that Yaketel is the home of the Froth Girl, so you can bet that is where we're going to be seeing our Froth Girls, and probably in the next FanFest in EU in October. I bet that is where they're going to show the Froth Girl in the CGI trailer. Like, I believe this so much. I wonder if I can call 2 CGI trailer characters, because I already called CGI Bunny Boy. Does it mean we'll also get CGI Froth Girl, who could be on the new job? So they said that the level cap will be raised to 100, level 100. Job additions, Yoshi P was like, it was such a debate when he got to this section, because he's like, job additions, and everyone's like edging, and he says, we will be adding new jobs. And he said multiple new jobs. And then Yoshi P took his shirt off. Yeah, then he just started stripping in Vegas. He just started undressing on stage. He took his shirt off, and we saw it. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt. What does that mean? Literally no one knows what that means at all. It is so perplexing. I have heard some really stupid theories, and I've heard some okay theories. So let me just give you what I thought. Personally, I saw the shirt, and my first thought was green. Turtles are green. It is Green Mage. And you know what? I stand by that theory. That is still my theory. I believe that is Green Mage because turtles are green. That's the best I got. I don't really know. Like, maybe we will meet a turtle that will teach us about nature in Terrell. But they did confirm it would be 1 melee and 1 caster. So this is going to be one of those. Some people seem to think, and this is I don't know why this is such a popular theory, but a lot of people seem to think that it's Pictomancer or artist, because the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have artist names. Come on, that is such a stretch. Like, I don't believe that at all. I don't know how this theory got so much traction already, but think about it. It can't be artist, because who would be the artist of any of the Scions? Wouldn't it be Alphano? And Alphano, you can hear him on the boat, but someone already freeze framed where they saw that he is there on the boat. And you know what? He's wearing his sage outfit. He's not wearing an artist outfit. He's wearing regular sage outfit. So if anybody's going to be artist, it would be him, but he's not. He's still a sage. So that means that it's not going to be artist. But I also heard people say, oh, maybe it'll be illusionist because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was owned by Mirage Studio, which actually, okay, maybe, but then people suggested, well, maybe it would be chemist because the turtles, they emerged from a radioactive ooze, and that's a little bit like a chemistry experiment. Now one theory I did like, someone mentioned mutant. The word mutant, it's related to espers from FF Legends, so maybe it seems like mutant was a thing at some point in in the game, so maybe something like that. I don't know though, dude. Some people suggested it could be Beastmaster, but just with turtles only. So I guess your role would be to make sure the turtles make it to the water, I assume, in that situation. I heard some people suggest maybe Geomancer because the Kojin in game have some ties to geomancy. I don't know about all that, y'all. It's a green mage, or at least that's what I want it to be. That's what I really want it to be. Of course, we can also talk about, does this represent the caster or the melee? Because what we see Meteor as in the Dawn trailer, that doesn't look like a caster to me. He's definitely got a sword. And I've heard some people say, oh, but look carefully. What is he resting his hand on? That shadow, could that be a hidden weapon? Could that be a gun? Could it be a pistol he's got in there? Some people think, oh, it's like one hand is going to be sword and the other hand is going to be a gun. And it's going to be some kind of a swashbuckling pirate situation. And that would be the melee. But then, what about the ninjas? Is it pirate versus ninja? But they said it would be caster and melee, so that doesn't make any sense. But I don't think it's going to be that. I personally think, sorry, there's a plane flying overhead. Okay, so I personally think that Meteor, he has this sword, right? And he's got the cape on. Now, the cape is hiding his cool outfit that will show us the job gear for the new job that he is. And in the fight with the Mamulja, he gets some fire on him, right? And he smiles a little bit, like, oh yeah, you fucked up giving me fire because I'm about to use that fire and like burst into flames or something, because I think that it's a spell sword of some kind. Because look at the sword. It's not a pirate sword. It's not bendy. It's not curved. It's a sword that looks more like a magical sword, wouldn't you say? And so he's got the fire and he knows he can reuse and repurpose the fire like a firebender because he's some kind of a spell sword. Wouldn't that be so neat? And also, at one point, if you freeze the trailer, you can see the sword glows for a second. But does it glow because of this metal on metal? Or does it glow a bit too much to be natural? These are the questions we need to ponder and ask ourselves in the coming month. It's 2 months, right? Until the next Fanfest. So, yeah. I don't know. I think he is some kind of a spell blade. But I think the other one is Green Mage. But I actually don't know how that really relates to the turtles. Besides them being green. Anyway. Job stuff. You tell me what you think in the comments, okay? You just tell me, but don't, you better not say Pictomancer because that's just silly. That's just silly. New threats. We're going to be fighting a big bird, like Quetzalcoatl. It's called Valagarmanda, and I hate saying that because I've had this song. I've had La Bamba in my head for like weeks now, and I had almost got it out of my head, and then as soon as they announced that we'd be fighting Valagarmanda, it was just, man, it's right back, dude. Duty support for all main story quest dungeons is a go. It's announced. That's pretty amazing. You will never have to interact with another person in Final Fantasy XIV. That's great. Except for, I guess, for your trials. You do need to do that. New gear and recipes, new lifestyle content. They mentioned like Island Sanctuary. Like Island Sanctuary, some sort of content in the same vein, he said. What does that mean? We don't know. I personally would like Island Sanctuary Ultimate. Okay, I want the animals to run away if you don't feed them. I want there to be hurricanes and natural disasters, maybe a volcano that erupts. I want the animals, like, they need specific types of food or they get mad, or if you put an alligator with a sheep, that the sheep could be in danger. Basically, I would like to be able to make more bad choices in my island sanctuary. So I hope that they give me the means to do that. New variant dungeons, they're continuing with those. New alliance raid. They said this alliance raid is going to be heckin' Final Fantasy. It's be very Final Fantasy. New 8-player raid, of course. A lot of this stuff we knew. New ultimates. They didn't just mention new ultimate. They mentioned new ultimates. It's an S. That's plural. I think that there's 2 new ultimates we can expect, which is huge. This is really, really important to the health of the game. Even if you don't do ultimates yourself, you gotta admit that having that peak tippy top content to strive for, and that's fun to watch on Twitch, and that is like this huge ultimate goal to seek out. It's really important to make people feel like, yeah, there's a higher purpose for me in this life. PvP update, Blue Mage update, we know. Hildy, we're getting more Hildy, that's confirmed. Some of this stuff I'm just kind of, running through because a lot of it we knew. New deep dungeon, that's actually huge. Getting another deep dungeon is very heartening to hear, because for a while we didn't get a new one, and I was worried that it was just going to be a thing they would do for this expansion and then forget it for another few years, but no. New plans for deep dungeon and brand new battle content as well. Now, what does that mean? What does he mean by that? I saw this tweet here saying, in the Famitsu FFXIV 7.0 Dawn Trail interview, Yoshi also mentions the team is working on new battle contents that have never been seen before. They're also discussing what will be the next large-scale instanced area that will be similar to Baja or Eureka. This is amazing because it can tell us that they will, once again, take the lessons learned from Baja and Eureka and then build upon that, make it something new and fresh once more. So I'm feeling very positive about that, and also very positive that there seems to be confirmed new deep dungeon, more island sanctuary, more large-scale instance area, plus ultimates. Like, it seems like in terms of the actual volume of content that we're getting this time around, there is quite a lot to keep people busy between patches. Plus, they're still continuing with variant dungeon, and I assume that includes Criterion dungeon also. So that is really, really nice to hear in terms of keeping people engaged with the game between content patches, because there's definitely been times in Endwalker when I wanted to do an exploration zone. I just wanted to, run around, do fates with my friends, and hang out, but it's not there. They didn't make it. And we all blamed Island Sanctuary for it, but we shouldn't have to make those kinds of choices. We shouldn't have to feel like, oh, we didn't get this because we got this other thing. And it seems like we are not going to feel like that in Dawn Trail, so I'm very, very happy to hear that. I have some very bad news, though. No Blitzball. Yeah. There's no Blitzball. Blitzball, no. He shot it down. But there will be Fall Guys instead. I personally think that looks more fun. Y'all can kill me if you want to, but the Fall Guys preview that I've seen looks really, really fun, and I hope it stays. I don't think they confirmed yet whether or not the Fall Guys crossover will be permanent. That adds this to Gold Saucer, but I don't see why not. Like, why wouldn't it? So that's actually coming really soon. Now, there was one announcement, though, that may have towered above all others. And this probably got the biggest cheer of the entire event. And that announcement was 2 dies on gear. You can dye a piece of gear 2 times. There will be 2 dye channels for that piece of gear. Like, people, when he announced this, people absolutely lost it. I guess because they're going through every piece of gear in the game for the graphics update. So why not just go ahead and add the extra dye channel there too. But yeah, the dye stonks are going to be going through the roof for this expansion. One person in my chat said, well, people are dyeing their underwear right now. There's also a new type of glam that they're adding called the eyeglasses slot, which is huge. So they will let you have eyeglasses on in addition to your hat. Now, the eyeglasses slot is not a normal gear slot, okay? It's system-wise, it doesn't take up space in your armory chest. It's not exactly like gear. It's purely just for glam, which is really cool. I hope that they come up with more slots like that. Actually, you know what? It would be really good is if instead of having the eyeglass slot and the hat slot for my character, they could just make the hat slot work. Yeah, actually, I will just deal with one slot for the head. If they can just make only that slot work, that would be really good. They are adding the collaborative raid planner in the game, which is huge. Though probably NA will just link you to the Imgur of these things in the chat. I can already see that happening. Now, there was some other earth-shattering news, a huge groundbreaking news for the game that they announced. Of course, Stormblood getting added to the free trial. This plus, so as if that wasn't enough, that plus Xbox support for Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, we are going to have yet another flood of new players coming in for this expansion. Of that, I have no doubt at all. Phil Spencer showed up, and it was... People were like, oh, he looks so uncomfortable, but have you ever seen Phil Spencer talk? He literally always talks like that. He always acts like that. He always seems... I think he might have a bit of stage fright, but Yoshi P made the Square Enix CEO, Phil Spencer, and him all hold hands at one point. It was really... It was fantastic. It was the power of anime and friendship. And the CEO after that said, this is the best experience ever. The CEO has definitely been charming everyone. And it's very dangerous because we know that he is a big NFT bro, but he has been very charming for the entire Fanfest. And he has been winning people over left and right, and it's not good. He's way too charismatic compared to the last CEO. Yeah, so Xbox support plus the Stormblood being added to the free trial is overwhelming. I'm so happy for that because it just means so many more people are going to be able to try the game. But Stormblood being in the free trial, look, that's Ultimates in the free trial. That's Eureka. That's Baldessian Arsenal. Like, it's big. We need to update the copy pasta, and I think some of us already did do that. That's all the major announcements from the Fanfest event itself, and I cannot wait for the next Fanfest where I will actually get a chance to meet you. Yes, the one in London. I heard some people say, oh no, now it's time for the post-Fanfest depression. No! We're in pre-Fanfest still. We're in the next pre-Fanfest towards pre-EU Fanfest, so all eyes are on that next stop of the hype train. The hype train has picked everybody up, made its first stop, and we are onward to the next stop where I will be. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you're most excited about and that you've heard about today, and tell me what is going on with Yoshi P's shirt. What does it mean? Do you have any better theories than Pictomancer? What about the free trial? Like, do you know anyone that you think will continue with their free trial or try the game now that they've heard about the expanded free, or the Xbox? Do you know, have any Xbox friends who do you think you've been able to get into Final Fantasy XIV? Let me know in the comments section down below. If you like this video, please consider supporting the channel on Patreon or on Twitch. You can also support the channel for free just by clicking the subscribe button or by sharing this video with your fellow Bun Buns. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!